You know, Charles, I am sometimes amazed. You know, it's been almost 5 years to the day that you and I have been doing videos together, and I actually have, Telegram doesn't, there it is. We're live on Telegram and on Odyssey and Rumble and Crowdsource, The Truth 7 and 8, but it's been almost 5 years to the day, Charles, since you and I have been doing videos together, and I think that viewers have come to know you through the videos, as I have, and our personal interactions, and I think, I don't like to speak for you, but it's fair to say you would not involve yourself with some 2-bit operation, right?
I would try not to.
This is a 32-bit operation, Charles, and you might notice something about me today.
You're not carrying as much stuff as you normally carry.
Kaizen, Charles.
That's
Look at
right.
this. We're like free to roam around all over the place, and the sound should be excellent for our viewers. I don't want to distract people too much with that, but you know, the Kaizen approach is constantly trying to improve with an eye towards perfection.
Which is the opposite of the Biden approach.
Exactly. The morons that have given rise to Joe Biden. And you know, I was checking Variety earlier, that Minions movie, Charles, it's made $800 million in a weekend. Maybe we should get one of those little green guys to be the president, because you can understand what they're saying a lot more easily than dumb Joe.
Yeah, it's just pathetic. I mean, I got several phone calls from our friends around the world over the course of this weekend, and these are good friends of mine, and so they're always going to speak frankly, but they just feel that this administration is not even pathetic. It's not that good.
It needs an upgrade to become pathetic.
Yeah. And for one idiotic idea after the next, we got Buttigieg hard at work now on racist roads, but all the flights are being canceled constantly, or many flights are being canceled. It's going to go right by that very noisy guy.
Yeah, and that guy's kind of getting us monetized with Frank Sinatra. I just wanted to see what's going on with all this construction in the park.
Well, it's a perfect time to shut the park down in the middle of a holiday.
Well, right.
Probably Joe Biden planned that one too. Well, maybe he delegated it to his border czar, and that was a classic one. I mean, I have known for some time that Kamala Harris is she's not ready for the 1 o'clock in the morning time slot, let alone prime time.
I know.
And most recently, I think it was the president of Guatemala called her out. I mean, when you're being called out by the president of Guatemala, you should probably begin to think about running for dog-catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she could be mayor of Bendover, Indiana, but I was referring, of course, there to be boot edge. But, I mean, wherever you look, whatever you want to talk about, Joe Biden has poured kerosene on the precious item in question and ignited it with a blowtorch and is going around saying he's a genius. You know? Give me a Nobel Prize.
He yells at people who question his genius. Terrible performance in Madrid. He basically just said, we're going to keep amping up this war with Russia and sending weapons and money into Ukraine. I don't know if you saw this, Charles, but RT.com did an investigative thing where they literally went onto the dark web and purchased U.S. military equipment for like $4,000. They got like, you know, some kind of sophisticated missile system, so it's no longer even a question. This stuff is being sold on the black market. And separately, there was a Ukrainian guy who was just a civilian who was conscripted into the military, who's been captured by the Russians, and says they have all this sophisticated weaponry, but they don't know how to use it, and they're basically being thrown out there as cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Not too good.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, this is the Biden operation is one scam after another. They probably Hunter probably has a frequent, bonus point program for some affiliate of his is helping to remarket these goods and money that we sent over there. One thing I do want to mention, I was on the board of an Irish company that was a large private company that operated gas stations and did a bunch of other stuff. And I've also invested in different energy companies. For Joe Biden to get out there as he did and say,
just lower your prices.
Well, but the way he said it, listen to me, bring your prices down now.
Or else kind of thing.
Well, without realizing, because of course he's in numbnuts, that if you look through the cost structure of a typical gas station, the margins on gas are very, very thin.
They want you to buy drinks and stuff and cigarettes.
And the entities that make money off the sale of gasoline are governments. It's a federal gas tax in some cases, it's a state, local gas tax. Those taxes together are far higher than the profit margins on gasoline of a gas station operator. So it's interesting that even we're here near where Jeff Bezos has one of his many gigantic, non-climate change friendly residences, but nonetheless, I give him kudos for courageously calling Biden out just now on Twitter.
I saw it.
Yeah, just for that one issue. You know, and what's that phrase? Better to keep people guessing about your intellect than open your mouth and remove all doubt. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Well, let's stay in the shade, right. That was a good thing. I mean, I guess Bezos is just worried that like increasing tax and dictating prices to companies is not...
I think it's reached a point where you got to call out the crazy uncle. No, Joe, it's not okay in the middle of a banquet to take a dump in the punch bowl in front of the grandkids. You can't
was
do
that
that.
bad?
Yeah, exactly. Not a strong move. And that's literally what this guy is doing. It on every occasion, every chance he's given to say anything, he makes a fool out of him
and
himself
us.
And of us for tolerating this crap.
Yeah.
You know, and along those lines, there was an excellent piece in Just the News out this morning, I think, or maybe last night, that called into question or contrasted the way in which Nancy Pelosi's daughter and a bunch of other people calling themselves the Hamilton electors. And these are people, apparently Federalist Paper 68 might have been written by Hamilton, and it expressed the view that the electors had a duty to make sure that in the event there was a mistake made in the election, that they, there was, let's say somebody successfully hid a disqualifying element from the public at large, that the electors had a responsibility to stand up and do the right thing. And so this was Nancy Pelosi's daughter, no doubt influenced by Pelosi and explicitly pushed by John Podesta after the election of 2016 into December, was demanding that these electors, these Hamilton electors, 80 of them out of the however many there are, receive a security briefing from James Clapper and the people explaining
about Russia.
Yeah, this happened in 16, and these people were also.
But if you and I say anything about it, we get kicked off of YouTube.
You're not allowed to. Yeah, but these people were also going and trying to get threatening electors, to get them to change their votes, going to the Green Party and getting them to move and try to challenge it at every turn. That's what happened, really. And this process of delegitimizing Trump began way before he was even, I think, nominated as president, and continues to this day with a whole bunch of actual co-conspirators, centrally including Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, John Podesta, the various and sundry lawyers working around that joke of a 2016 campaign. So, watch it. Let's get this side.
The lawyers with the keys to the FBI, you mean? It's quite a crowd here, Charles.
That's what I'm saying. As the summer progresses, these are going to progress more and more. Look at the number of these people. Look at this idiot.
Bike life.
Look at him.
Yeah, I see. You smell the legal weed. Here's a guy on a motorcycle.
So dangerous.
Wow, and they're on the sidewalk. Get off the sidewalk. Get off the sidewalk with the bike, asshole. Charles, we're going to have to start traveling with bats. Yeah. These guys are now riding like this on the sidewalk, spitting at us.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. There's more of them. Hey, look at this guy. He's going to fall.
I can't wait. Look, Michael Jordan's here.
Where?
23.
That would be a no.
Somebody is smoking really terrible weed right around here.
Probably a 13-year-old girl.
Well,
something.
That was a big one.
Yeah, we'll see more of that today.
But see, they're malicious. That was an adult on the sidewalk who had something crappy to say.
Again, these are, probably tourists from somewhere.
Those guys live in the Bronx.
Those guys live in the Bronx, but I think the guy on the sidewalk looked to me like a European guy.
Maybe.
You know, out for the
Anyway,
ride.
what were you saying before we were rudely interrupted by those hooligans?
I was saying the contrast between the way in which the media has given tremendous airtime and the supposed pundits and experts extensive airtime to the continuing and thoroughly now debunked theory that Trump was propelled into office in 2016 by the Russians. That got, tremendous coverage, but we still to this day refuse to ask and answer legitimate questions about what happened not only in the 2016 election, but in the 2012 election.
Or in the election that shall not be discussed.
Right. Did I bring that one up? I don't think I did.
I don't know.
By design. But, and just the contrast that you would sit there and say, okay, I'm going to accept the ground rules that if I score a point, it's not counted, but if you score a point, you get 3 points.
Right.
That's just not a game I'm going to play.
This is how they love to play it.
It's the only way they can, in quotes, win, by cheating.
And the people who don't get the sham, I'm starting to lose faith, interest, confidence. Like, you've got to be super dumb to be looking at what's going on and think it's anything other than terrible.
Well, yeah.
So this guy doesn't care about lights.
Doesn't care about anything. And this is the danger. As people start coming from all directions, especially on the electric bikes and scooters that are soundless, you have no warning.
So just to let people know what we're doing here, Charles, there was a lot of activity, protests and things around the city. Hang on just a second. A lot more stuff closing around here. But there were a lot of protests and things yesterday from the We Love Abortion crowd. It's just screaming terrible things at people who, from what I could see, were just like trying to go to church.
Right.
And I mean, it's one thing to, support a position, but to go and yell at people going to church about how you love abortion, it's not like these were people who needed to get abortions. They're just sort of championing the idea of we want to be able to decide when to destroy a pregnancy no matter what.
Or how about that she's not yet a mother, but that mother of all dumbasses, AOC, likening, she said that to something like to reinforce or to remind herself of the loss of bodily autonomy that she suffered as a result of this decision. She decided, having grown up in a very religious family, which I'll call bullshit on that, I doubt it, where it was frowned upon for women to get their nails done. She decided that she would go get her nails done. And then she put up an Instagram post with 6.8 million followers bragging about that.
Oh my God.
And then meanwhile, Liz Cheney breathlessly announced either yesterday or today that she hasn't yet decided whether she's going to run for president in 2024.
Elizabeth Warren?
No, Cheney.
Oh, Cheney. Oh,
I
my
said,
God.
And I tweeted, I think the people have decided that one already.
I mean, isn't she getting primaried in Wyoming and not even going to be in the Senate anymore?
She's not a senator.
Or in Congress or whatever the hell she's doing?
That's right. Let's see, you want to go
it looks pretty empty today. I mean, the thing that I don't expect that we will see protests, at least not on the order of what they had yesterday, but that's what I wanted to check because it seems really odd to me that there was just no activity whatsoever last week, then all this big stuff Saturday, and then nothing again. It just
part of it's the abortion thing, and then I think there's a tragedy in Akron, Ohio, where the police shot and killed another black person.
Right.
Who was
delivering food.
And that is, for the life of me, I don't understand why your choices are do nothing or shoot somebody dead. I mean, it seemed to me that particularly if you see somebody on the ground or delivering food, which maybe the person was leaving the food on the ground, why would you need to kill that person?
Right. Why not question him or something?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, here, the police in the park, what do?
They don't do anything. Right. We've got trigger-happy cops elsewhere and cops here who are doing nothing. There was something in the New York Post about a veteran NYPD officer who gave them the finger as on
leaving, you mean, yeah.
Twitter or Instagram. Right. That's how he quit. And he just
you
said
want to
that.
go in the word shady, Jason?
Sure. I was just looking at these cops.
Must be getting some ice cream. I'm thinking we get in the shade this way.
Sure.
I mean, who was that cartoon character? Yosemite Sam? And then Wile E. Coyote? Bing, 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 you know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of cartoon characters, Charles, we should just discuss the morons
It's a fantastic
that gave
poster.
rise to Joe. Thank you. I haven't seen the Minion movie yet, but this is another element of Kaizen, Charles. In honor of our 5-year anniversary of doing shows, there's 2 major technological upgrades on today's show. I've lost 4.5 pounds by ditching the previous sound recorder and having this new super mini one. But also we've utilized artificial intelligence to create today's image.
Wow.
So Crowdsource the Truth is now utilizing artificial intelligence and computer machine learning. It's a very sophisticated process.
You should go public.
Exactly.
You could do a
Get
SPAC.
into Newsweek with that crap.
You could do a SPAC. Take over Twitter.
Well, so what's going on with that? The SPAC that was going to merge with Trump World Media, whatever it's called, is under criminal investigation now, they said.
Is under SEC investigation or criminal?
I'm pretty sure it said criminal investigation, and I'm also pretty sure that there's probably criminal stuff going on there based on evidence I've seen in the public domain. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, with regard to most transactions that involve
not listening, not looking, pulling tricks right in front of people.
Public, the SEC generally does investigate most significant transactions. Whether it crosses to a criminal line and who is the target of the criminal investigation, if there is one, is another story. But
let me ask you this about the park for a second, Charles. Don't you find it strange if people are so outraged that it goes from like a giant thing to nothing? Shouldn't there be some people here demonstrating?
Well, it's 4th of July weekend, so
selective outrage.
There are a bunch of people. It's a nice day. Probably a bunch of people at the beach. Many of those demonstrators probably haven't woken up yet.
Yeah. Somebody sent me, speaking of woke, somebody sent me an interview that the Babylon Bee did with Elon Musk about 6 months ago. I guess sort of right before or just a few weeks or months before he got involved with buying Twitter. And he said that the woke mind virus, they asked him specifically about this tweet that he had written that was some line of programming code trying to trace the source of the woke mind virus. And it's interesting how he tweets in code like that, where you really need to know a lot of things to even understand what the hell he's talking about. But he said that he thought that the woke mind virus was one of the most dangerous things to humanity, and that it could destroy society.
Well, particularly the intolerant part of it. I mean, it's one thing to say that, look at this guy.
Whoa. What's he looking at? I've seen that guy in the park before, and he probably recognized me because he just made a face and tried to crash into us.
Yeah, well.
He should be in the circus with that biker. There's a new weed store.
But the worst part of that whole woke thing is that it's so intolerant of any other viewpoint.
Yes.
That's when you get yourself in very, very serious trouble. And when you allow the teachers, who typically are the role models, and if they're not the role models, they're essentially involved deciding who succeeds and who fails on the way towards and through college. If you allow that virus to be prevalent amongst the graders and the teachers, that's when you actually can destroy society. When you think, for example, it's probably going to be a shock to you that the most highly regarded university system, I believe, in Western Europe in the 19th century were the colleges and universities in Germany.
I think you told me that before.
And now, I mean, I don't know a single person who studied. I mean, I know one who studied in Germany briefly, but who got a degree from a German institution. And I don't know any student who would think today about studying over there now, any American student. That place is it's a shell of what it once was. And similarly, I long ago stopped reading the Yale Alumni magazine, which as a kid I grew up reading it because my parents had both been there, and it was interesting to me, and I liked it when I was there, shortly after I left. But it's now filled with utter garbage.
Yeah, I told NYU to never call me again a long time ago. I said they got all the money they're going to get from me.
And Harvard the same, and Horace Mann the same, Grace Church School. I get 5 emails a week about diversity and inclusion and this and that, and their plans for this idea.
You got to hit that unsubscribe button on some of these email lists.
Well, but the thing that's amazing to me is we're going to walk near it. That's an institution that call it $60,000 a year for kindergarten.
That's crazy.
And so how inclusive can you be if that's the sticker price just for school, which by the way, if you're here in New York City, you can go to public school for free. So you're not catering at Grace Church School to a crowd that's going to be very diverse and or inclusive, which is by definition out on the fringes of consumer preferences and income.
But I can't imagine that Grace Church School is doing stuff with, like having transgender story hour.
Absolutely.
They are?
All that kind of stuff. Yeah.
At the church?
Well, I don't know about at the church, but in the school, absolutely.
But I mean, isn't the school run by the church?
No, it is an Episcopalian affiliated school, but it's a private. I think it's like a charity. I haven't.
That's surprising.
They're coming for those cyclists. I bet you those cyclists are in Washington Square Park by now.
Well, I mean, it's just chaos, and the cops are doing nothing. Eric Adams is doing nothing. 2 people were shot in a taxi on 8th Avenue and 37th last night or early this morning or something like that.
Fire. And right around here, a number of days ago, I was walking this way and walked right this far away from, who is the guy who shot the...
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin, yeah.
Oh, did you see his interview with Woody Allen?
I didn't, no.
My God, it was...
2 fine exemplars.
Well, I just don't know who's giving either of those 2 any kind of advice, because first of all, I think the best PR approach for those guys is to just stay off the internet and be quiet. It's not like 2 PR disasters talking to each other is going to improve anything for anybody. And Alec Baldwin is not a good interviewer. He was impatient. Woody Allen, I haven't heard him speak in some time. He's obviously getting older. He's like 86. Yeah. And, he seems in good health, but he's not as quick as he once was. He said he's been vaxxed and boosted and everything.
Can you imagine how difficult it was for him to go through parent-teacher conferences?
Woody Allen?
With his wife?
Right.
Did they have kids together?
I don't know if they've had kids, but he commented that they've been married for 25 years, which is a long time.
Now
What are you honking at? You're going 2 miles an hour. It's unbelievable.
Doctor.
It's too easy to get a driver's license.
This is a doctor driving a Subaru.
Was it a doctor? I thought it said handicapped.
MD license plate.
But also with a handicap thing in the rear view mirror.
So a handicapped doctor driving a Subaru. Probably not a very good doctor.
Driving a Subaru at 5 miles an hour and honking at us from half a block away. But so the other problem is Woody Allen, filmmaker extraordinaire, couldn't get the Wi-Fi to work. I mean, this live stream was the most incompetent technological disaster you could have imagined. And I mean, I don't expect them to necessarily be wizards, but both of them have money if they're going to do that. Shouldn't they be hire somebody and set it up to work properly? It was an embarrassment.
Where was it shot?
It was literally Alec Baldwin in his house just picking up Instagram.
Like in upstate New York or where?
I don't know. I think he was on Long Island, he said.
Oh, okay.
And then Woody Allen looked like he was in a house. And he just went on Instagram, and you can kind of make like a call on Instagram, and it's like one person on top of the other in this bizarre vertical format. And I mean, it was interesting to see an interview with Woody Allen because he hasn't done too many, and he hasn't really been in the public too much. And from my standpoint, from a filmmaking standpoint, it was interesting as well because Woody Allen commented about how, when Annie Hall was around, it played in movie theaters for months, and now he says a movie's in a theater for maybe 2 weeks and then people are just watching it on TV, and he said he started on TV and he doesn't want to go back to TV and he's losing interest in movies. And I said, well, that's pretty interesting.
Huh. Yeah, when was the last good movie that he did?
I don't know. I like the one where Sidney Pollack is dating a much younger woman and they get into a fight and he says, look, Shakespeare never wrote a play called King Leo, okay? He's funny writing, but he's a super weird guy, and it was a terrible interview with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin was good in 30 Rock.
You know what? The problem with Alec Baldwin is that everything that he is doing right now, even though I was like, okay, I kind of like him as an actor and a comedian, I'm starting to just totally dislike him because he's just so unlikable.
Yeah. Well, going back though to Bezos and to Musk, it's interesting that the very rich folks are starting to challenge the woke
Bidenism,
and Biden himself. There's a story that I was reading just as you arrived that apparently Gavin Newsom has taken out political ads that are going to air this weekend.
Run for president.
Well, I don't know, announcing a run, but positioning him to possibly take on Biden. Now, if the guy who is driving, I mean, California will be lucky in 20 years.
Is anybody still living there?
Well, to be a dirty toilet bowl.
They also just raised their gasoline tax.
Right. And for this moron, who is the very example of cronyism and the rules are for you, not for me, with no accomplishments to his name, if he thinks from the left that he's a legitimate candidate to run for the Democrats, and if Cheney thinks she's not from the right, she's from the wrong, if she thinks that she could possibly take on DeSantis and Trump, let's just wait for this guy to go.
She's out of her mind.
She doesn't have a mind. You can't even do that poster of mind is a terrible thing to waste because there's no example of mind inside that broad.
I mean, she's just delusional if she thinks that. And I mean, they're still running with all this nonsense from the Cassidy Hutchinson testimony. How can any person who is a lawyer look at that and, setting aside whether you believe Cassidy or not, what's with the hearsay testimony? I mean, these witnesses are still alive. Why don't they just bring them in and ask them?
For the very construction of it, it's like I'm sympathetic. It didn't work too well for King Charles I, but his attitude, his advisor's attitude when they started trying to put him on trial was they have no authority to do that, so I won't participate. So they convicted him and killed him. But that approach didn't work too well. But that really is, I think, the correct approach to take with this January 6th show trial. It is not a legitimate House committee, and the more you dignify it by covering it, by participating in it, the more you're really setting a very bad example of how America is, in quotes, working today, because it's not.
But shouldn't somebody step in and point this out and shut it down?
The Supreme Court should have done that.
Why didn't they?
I don't know. I just don't know the tactics and approaches.
Well, speaking of the Supreme Court, Kathy Hochul announced all kinds of new laws to counteract the support of the Second Amendment. And she's saying now that if you want a gun, you got to have a psychological evaluation and submit all of your social media. That's an impingement on the right to...
Somebody will challenge that for sure.
Right, but the problem is, it's going to now take a lawsuit, which is going to take 2 or 3 years, then an appeal, which will take another year or two, then the Supreme Court if they choose to take it up. So in 7 years, we'll get to have another conversation about whether or not you get to own a gun in New York.
Well, I think before then, probably 20% of the population in New York will leave over the next 7 years. I mean, this place, if you're a wealthy person, high-income wealthy person, paying taxes in New York,
you're hating it.
Well, and you're not making plans to leave, then you probably inherited your money and didn't deserve it. Because the signs are there.
I think there's a lot of people who can't easily leave, though. Boy, what a contrast from last week, huh?
Well, I only said 20% of the population. I mean, if everybody could leave, this would be
right.
Montana.
It'd be done already.
You get Montana would be, whatever its population, then New York.
Pretty empty in the park today.
Again, it's Sunday.
Yeah, people probably went away somewhere. Everybody's stuck at the airport, I think.
That's right. Stuck in the airport, exactly. Or stuck in their basement with Joe Biden.
Pete Buttigieg should just go yell at them and say, you have to charge less and fly more planes.
I mean, putting him in charge. I mean, I bet you that guy, you remember Lucy in the chocolate, I Love Lucy in the Chocolate Factory? And she's put on the line to try to
and then she's eating all the chocolates.
And then the line starts moving faster and faster, and there's chocolate all over the place. I mean, that's an A+ compared to what Buttigieg would do.
That band is terrible, Charles.
Yeah. I wouldn't waste a second. If somebody called and said, look, we'd like to have Pete Buttigieg come and answer your toughest question, click, I'd just hang the phone up.
I would talk to Buttigieg and ask him a lot of questions about why he's so dumb.
But you're not going to learn anything by doing that. You're just going to reinforce what you already know. But you have better things to do, like, I don't know.
And now the other thing is they had a protest happening down at, lots of stuff happening on the phone, right? Keep the park safe. These people are wasting our money, Charles.
Yeah, but all in, somebody like that probably costs us $100,000 a year. And that's
what about our pension?
I'm saying all in. Salary is probably 60.
It's got to be more than that. Health insurance.
There's some garbage.
There's a little bit of cars mixed in with the garbage.
Probably art.
Well, but the other thing that was happening yesterday was kind of a big protest outside the Planned Parenthood.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we'll go take a look at that.
Sure. I think we have to hang a Louis here to do that. You think Anderson Cooper's home?
I don't know.
He lives around the corner.
Yeah. So is Biden back in the U.S.?
His body is. Where his mind is
right.
Another question.
And has anybody said anything about this voicemail where he's acknowledging Hunter?
Of course not. I mean, why would we do that? See that fire patrol thing there?
Yeah.
That's his house.
I know. It's really calm today.
At the moment.
Right.
Yeah, so where did those bicyclists go?
I guess they're still
again.
Riding around. Probably.
Is this the door?
Katsu curry. Have you ever had that?
I've had chicken katsu, but not curry. I guess it's just spicy.
Japanese curry? I've never heard of that.
Well, it's fusion.
Yeah, evidently. Another genius on your phone, biking.
Oh yeah, so Elon Musk reemerged on Twitter, hanging out with the Pope.
Was he there with Pelosi? Didn't she take communion in the Vatican?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if Pelosi was there, and he wasn't taking communion. He was just sort of hanging out. It was a very Zelig-like photo.
There's an AC unit in the lawn.
Because everyone's looking at it like, hey, who's that guy
in the white
with
suit?
the white hat standing next to Elon Musk? He's like, oh, the Papa.
Yeah, I'm not a huge expert of the Pope, or any Pope, but I believe this Pope is pretty controversial. Isn't he the one from Argentina?
Maybe.
I think so. And there's some who
what
believe
is controversial about him?
He's a communist.
Oh.
And he was a cardinal in Argentina at a time where serious abuses were carried out against people in the church. So.
But aren't they always kind of covering up for serious abuses by the church?
Sadly.
I feel like there's more outdoor restaurant huts now.
I don't know.
Don't you?
This is a different one. Mexican home cooking.
That's what I mean. I feel like we have new ones now.
Yeah, this has been
the Pueblo
resuscitated or something. Looks nice, actually.
Yeah, I haven't been to a restaurant.
Of course, it's a funny time to go out, right? I mean, 3:30. Who goes out for food at 3:30?
Well, I guess if you had brunch or woke up late.
I'm just saying it's a little bit unusual. You wouldn't expect a restaurant to be jammed on a Sunday at 3:30. Now, the Planned Parenthood isn't it to our left?
Is it?
Pretty sure it's maybe further down, but it's over to our left.
Yes. So.
Would you like a sack of garbage? There's plenty for
I'm
you.
just looking at that.
You can have the bagged garbage, or you can have boxed garbage. Which is your preference, bagged or boxed? By the way, why isn't Buttigieg on the fact that all of these cardboard boxes are light brown? Why aren't they white?
Exactly.
Why aren't they red? Why aren't they black? I mean, what about these
Racist.
racist boxes? Huh?
Racist.
I mean, just spend $1 billion on that one.
Also, you know, when Joe Biden made that whole criticism of Mobile Mart telling them to reduce the price of gas, China came out and said, oh, see, Joe Biden realizes that capitalism doesn't work. Did you see that Chinese tweet?
Yeah.
And also, so TikTok now, they don't want to say that Trump was right, but there's some emergency need to get rid of TikTok.
I've never been a fan of TikTok. I don't think I've even seen, I mean, I've seen a TikTok video that somebody put on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I've never.
TikTok is China's Trojan horse to the U.S.
No.
We know, and that's what Trump said, but now Joe Biden took him 2 years to realize that. Perhaps that's a reluctant TikTok star.
This is a nice looking place.
Yeah.
You ever been in here?
I have not. I knew a guy in high school named Carbone. Oh wait, this is new because it was Rocco before or something.
A long time ago. It was Rocco's.
But that,
Yeah. But it's been Carbone for a while.
I've never been in here.
It looks nice. I was here when it was Rocco's.
Try the veal, Charles. It's the best in the bag.
You can eat and you can barf in the same bag.
Huh.
Yeah, this is one of these magical summer days where it's not quite.
Did anybody ever tell you look like Bruce Springsteen? Yeah, see, he gave me a yes. Young Bruce
That was
Springsteen.
Bruce. Leon's Bagels. You know bagels.
Nobody named Leon is making bagels. It's like Moishe's hip hop album.
Oh, there you go again, Jason. You're
That's
bowing-
racist.
No, you're displaying your white
They
privilege.
do have Jewish rappers.
One, probably.
Right, I don't think anybody's ever heard of them. Go Speed Racer. That's the Speed Racer helmet, isn't it?
Now this is really bright. Maybe we better get over there.
So Charles, I located the first two interviews that we did, and you know, one of them has already been published, but it was the very first remote broadcast ever done. And I don't know if you remember, by me, yeah. But I don't know if you remember the array of equipment that I had there. There was a laptop, a 9-volt battery-powered analog, crappy mixer.
I remember. So we were down near the World Trade Center. I remember
But that's the very first one.
Right.
This one I'm talking about was the one up by the High Line.
Oh, okay.
With George.
Remember that one too.
He really knew a lot about Peter Smith.
No.
He wasn't really a very prominent figure, was he, Peter Smith?
Oh yeah. Behind the scenes. I mean, he had been. I think he had been active in Republican politics prior to sicking. What was the guy's name on the
David Brock.
David Brock on Paula Jones' Trooper story. He had been active before then. Do you want to go to?
But do we want to check Hunter's gallery? Just see what's going on.
There's like. Wonder if, sorry for this one in advance, but I wonder if the price of Hunter Biden's artwork has gone down more or less than Bitcoin since the last time.
You should ask him if inflation has affected the price of the Hunter Biden paintings.
Lack of interest has. Where is this place? Is it right here somewhere?
Maybe that's scaffolding. It was the George Berger, or are we on the wrong street? There was a whole dumpster here.
Oh, you know what? We are on. Are we on the wrong street?
But that was Dos Caminos.
That is Dos Caminos. We're on the right street. Maybe they just hightailed it.
Maybe they moved the dumpster.
Or changed the name. No, we definitely. Here it is.
I'm surprised they're not protesting the pregnancy store.
Here it is.
Oh yeah, here it is.
George Berger Gallery. Now, honestly, that art, interesting. It's the kind of stuff. I mean,
5-year-old could have done that.
I don't know about 5-year-old, but it's.
The woman with the dirty feet could have done that.
She probably did do that.
Yeah.
As well. I'll do the black stuff. You just put the paint on top of it. Don't let nobody ask where the black stuff came from. Let's see.
Painting.
Like, what's that stuff in the 60s and 70s? Spin art?
Acid?
Spin art?
I don't know.
This is a famous sculpture right here. I mean, I'm amazed that somebody would leave that $10,000 sculpture on the sidewalk. Do you want it, Jason? First come, first serve.
Part of a robe or what is it?
No, it's that's a fart. A famous artist.
Here's Herbie the Love Bug. Turbo, Charles.
Nice. Dune.
Who's like, yeah, I'm getting the turbo VW.
Exactly.
Burn up the tires on that.
Go down to Cuba and get one of those Havana cars. Bring that up. Take it out to some fancy country club in Beverly Hills. That's a nice painting right there.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
You do?
I mean,
You mean the giant ass?
Right. That's Biden.
Put a letter in there.
Self-portrait.
hey.
That's kind of cute.
From the rear. Yeah, I like art like this. Funny. This is good for,
This would be good for like
appropriate room.
If you had a beach house, you put that in the bathroom. Let's.
I was thinking the bathroom, a fancy bathroom would have.
Yeah, you get a big pile of National Enquirers and stuff.
Joe Biden's speeches.
Exactly.
On a roll.
The toilet paper.
Yeah, so that people. I think we spoke to this guy once before.
Well, have you gotten into the insect diet yet? Are you gonna give up beef and chicken and fish?
No.
And only insects?
I had a grass-fed cheeseburger yesterday. I was thinking I've really, in my opinion, perfected the apartment burger, Charles. Because it's 4th of July tomorrow. Happy 4th of July, everybody. A lot of people planning barbecues. I really don't have access to a barbecue, In LA, I used to barbecue all the time. And here in New York, it's quite difficult to do.
You just go to Washington Square Park.
But there's no grill.
Yeah. Ask one of those thieves to steal one for you.
You could do that. Then you're in business with the wackos. But the point is, I've just been cooking at home. Saves a lot of money. So what other interesting world-moving things are occurring?
Well, we have the stock market.
Right.
The markets this year have opened, and here's Brian Deese, this National Economic Council guy.
Dope.
One person. It would be tough to decide who is the stupidest and least effective member of the Biden cabinet, including the president or vice president. But what saved Biden in the first year of his presidency was that stock prices went up, and so all the pundits could hang their hats on that and say, well, you may not like exactly what Biden's doing, but the economy's strong, and see the markets are high, even though interest rates have been going up. Well, the first half of 2022, the markets recorded their worst performance since 1970, right? And last year, Babylon Bee has a hilarious piece saying, thank God I put the $16 that I saved on July 4th last year into my trust fund. I was able to take it out and defray part of the 4,000% price increase that I'm going to suffer in this year's. So, prices are going out of control. stock prices are going the wrong way, interest rates going the wrong way.
Charles, this guy sells scripts from any movie.
For what?
This script house is a van filled with movie scripts. In case you want to read one. Well, you know, your 16 cents from 2021 is only worth about 12 cents today.
Exactly.
So you should have bought that hot dog.
Hot dog? You can't even get the tail of a hot dog. Is that yours?
Why'd you park all the way over here, Charles?
Yeah. Well, you see, that's another racist car, right? A white car.
Too white.
Yeah. It's displaying its white privilege for
Oh,
all
it
to
has
see.
Pooh, Winnie the Pooh.
And again, it's a tan bear. And how come the upholstery's black? That's a nice engine.
I'll say.
What do you think that car will cost?
This is $200 or $300 grand.
DeKalb,
from Georgia.
Wow.
Wow.
Clearly from out of town. As what? You got to have an enormous
I was
amount
going
of
to say, you're
confidence.
not worried about the fuel economy.
Or you finance up by never putting it in a private garage. I mean, what would it cost to put that car overnight?
They do have some super premium upcharge for, you know, exotic.
At least $100 overnight, right?
I have no idea.
Well, because of the tax is almost 20%. The base fee is going to be pretty high.
Obviously, it's not a value proposition.
Probably, you know what that was? It was probably owned by some Ukrainian general or politician, that car.
Maybe.
It's like,
Were you telling me?
You guys go and fight in Ukraine. I'm going to DeKalb, Georgia, and I'll sell some of these munitions you so kindly given me and buy a few cars.
Well, weren't you telling me that somebody was arrested in London from Ukraine trying to buy some apartment with cash or something?
It's in Stade in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah, right.
He, I think, had bought a roughly $9 million whatever. I don't know if it's a house or condo or something.
A flat.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It could have been a chalet. Now, I think it's Bleecker Street that we want to get.
Well, we got to go further down, no?
Bleecker. Yeah, if we go this way.
Yeah, I think we're getting close to further down.
All right.
This person's just like driving right through the crowd. We got no shortage of jackasses.
Anger management issues.
We'll stay calm, yeah.
I'm not saying in your case.
No, you are. You're right.
I'm not. We're talking about the driver. But that woman.
So ask this guy if you can get the 17 cents back from the hot dog.
Yeah, I mean, that today will get you, I think there are 8 hot dogs in a pack for $12. It's $1.50 a hot dog. 17 cents is like not even a bite of a hot dog. So it's a lot more crowded over here. This is, I guess,
what I was noticing.
All the tourists are over here shopping.
What is going on over here?
And this guy plays like all kinds of weird things. A shovel.
Oh, that's so strange.
He's been doing that for years. And that guy adds a lot more value to the American economy than Joe Biden does, or any member of his cabinet.
Well, so what is Joe Biden's next ridiculous act of stupidity?
Well, I think he's encouraging China to take a run at Taiwan.
Indirectly.
Well, maybe even overtly. I mean, if this were Trump, and we had the same fact sets at every single appearance, anywhere that a Trump cabinet member would go, there'd be 200 to 300 people in a throng
harassing
and saying, you know, it's obvious why you. Well, okay, it's obvious why you were. Let's get on this sidewalk. Why Hunter was paid all this money. The Chinese paid to get what they're going to get out of this administration. The Russians and the Ukrainians probably each paid. It said that Romanians somehow paid Hunter Biden. Who knows how many different people paid off Hunter Biden at this stage? And yet the mainstream press has no interest in looking at any of this.
really bad.
What passes for the mainstream press. I love the new CNN guy, head of CNN, has tried to put the fear of God into
Tubin?
Into the CNN folks, and make all these different reforms, try to get the opinion out of there and have it more news. Nonetheless, the ratings at CNN continue to fall precipitously. Now, maybe we've gone too far
I think that's
south.
a toxic brand. No, I think we're right near it, aren't we? That wall? Oh, no, maybe not.
I think it's up the street here.
It's a little confusing down here, but we'll find it. I don't think we're going to have the same level of activity as they had yesterday.
Oh, I doubt it, yeah.
It's all right for me. I just sort of wanted to see how it...
This is, I think, the church.
Yeah, they were protesting outside this church.
And the place is up, we can go up here.
Yeah, right.
And this idea that, that you would, on the one hand, believe you have any sort of high ground in your argument, but then that what you'd start doing is you would threaten, you'd deface property, you'd burn property, you'd threaten people who disagree with you, using money obtained in theory through a charity, and that's okay. Just shame, really shame on Merrick Garland and shame on Biden people and shame on the FBI for allowing this kind of mayhem to proliferate.
Well, I think the new thing is antagonizing and intimidating judges.
Yeah.
Seems to be a popular sport for idiots. What's this? Unsubscribe to the eye. There's a picture of an eyeball.
Do you have enough cans, sir? Can I borrow a can?
I think he's recycling them. Yeah, so this Babylon Bee interview that somebody sent me with Elon Musk, I mean, again, it's the things that he's saying are quite interesting. I mean, it would seem to have put even more color on this idea of, why is he so interested in Twitter? And I think it's because he wants to fight this woke mind virus. He literally agrees that it's a big problem for society at large. And look at the resistance that he's getting. It's obviously from the people who want that problem.
Well, and it should be crystal clear to anybody with half a brain that that wokeism is a disaster.
But they love it.
Well, they love it. I mean, if the deal is that you can somehow get employed, but then work from home, and nobody checks any of your work, and nobody has the right to criticize you because you'll be triggered. You can get away with that for a while. Basically, that's anarchy. And
somehow we've missed it here.
I think it might be to the right. We can look up the address, or maybe it's straight ahead.
Maybe. Oh, here we are at REI, which people have commented used to be Gaseteria.
Right. No, this
no,
I think
we missed it.
You want me to look it up?
I can do that. How did we miss it?
Definitely
we walk by it all
near
the time.
I want to say, we come at it from a different perspective. I want to say maybe it's up there to the right.
All right.
But no, let's look up the address.
Unplanned Parenthood. 26 Bleecker Street.
Yeah, Bleecker Street. So
400 feet away. His house. Yeah, we got to go up there and make a right. But she should be right over there.
Well, I think it's
one street this way.
Like my avenue coworker?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
What else?
So the issue is we're talking about the markets, and the people who monitor the big flows of money in and out of funds are saying that in the next 2 weeks, if the markets don't get back on a growth trajectory, then there's going to be no real support, and we could risk a real tumble in the markets in the second half of July through the summer, and then I think Biden's presidency will be finished because
it's not already.
Well, I mean it's finished before it started, in my view. Should we keep going, or? I think it's...
Yeah. Is it down here?
Well, you said... I thought you said just up.
I think it's this way, yeah. Let's make a right here, and then I think it's another right.
Yeah. But just practically speaking, you know, it's July 3rd, holiday tomorrow. Many people will be stuck at home with staycations, but those who have had the money will be out on vacation. Schools are out. Generally speaking, most big corporations and even small businesses don't make big decisions in the summer. Often the biggest companies actually can put factories offline for maintenance and other reasons, inventory, and so you're talking about really a lost couple of months in terms of momentum. And if the AOC wing of mindless, violence-prone idiots want to continue encouraging the wokesters and the young to riot, to try to adopt these policies that have not worked, will never work, and are only harming this country, you're going to be more divided come September after Labor Day than you are today, assuming we don't have a major bunch of riots spiraling out of control between now and then. So I think people are going to be taking money off the table in the markets. You're not going to be able to make the argument, as Biden and his team have been making, that everything's fine. And you know, we definitely want Democrat-controlled House and Senate because of all the great things they've accomplished. You won't be able to make that argument. And then either there's the ass whooping, which I think should come.
Oh,
let's get away from that.
It really reeks, huh?
Great place to sit.
It makes you want to have a piece of cake.
Right. Yeah. This is Prince.
Cupcake shop. You know, the other thing I forgot to tell you, Charles, is that Saudi Arabia announced that they met with Xi. MBS met with Xi, and they're thinking about joining BRICS.
That was a Xi show. Now, wait a minute.
We're really
getting turned around here. This is Prince and Mott. I don't see Bleecker.
This way.
Well,
Bleeker's back that way.
We want to get to Bleecker.
Yeah.
But
so what they're saying, if China joins BRICS,
now let's look at a map.
Aren't we screwed?
No.
No.
That guy's screwed.
Yeah, let's get in the shade.
Sure. Let's figure it out with reference to a map. Otherwise, we'll just wander aimlessly.
Starting walking directions to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, we just got to go straight here and then make a right.
In a quarter mile, take a right on.
Okay. There you go.
There's the Matrix. What is
Look at
this?
Letter of His Holiness Pope Francis to the popular movements. This may be time to consider a universal basic income. How is that anything to do with religion?
What, exactly. Why is the Pope talking about that? And why is a cupcake store
a little one
advertising the Pope?
A little one. It's pretty big for...
It's the Pope of cupcakes.
Pope of Greenwich Village.
That's what I mean.
By the way, on that subject, did you see that Amy Schumer is sold one townhouse that or is in the process of selling one that she bought a while back for $15 million.
Wow.
And has just purchased a new one, they think, for $11 million in Brooklyn. It was featured in Moonstruck. How does she have that kind of money?
Movies, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, name one good movie that she was ever in that would have made that kind of money.
Yeah, it seems like a real lot. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Some people have a lot of money, I guess.
And that strikes me as a large amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying a $15 million house, that's a lot.
But just the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, the staff you'd have to have, security. I mean,
boy, it smells like a turd over here.
Well, this is probably the don't use fertilizer.
It's this.
Yeah, and the flies are nice. Those are
what is in there?
You know, I don't want to think. Are we close to Planned Parenthood?
I think so.
That could be in there.
And then,
so the point is that this year is setting up for an epic markets failure, and very few people actually monitor if they have money. Very few people have money invested in stocks and bonds directly. They have it typically in funds.
Take a right on Bleecker Street.
Still a quarter mile?
it's a quarter mile. How could that be right?
Well, we're walking and we're having fun, whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
So most people have not gotten their statements concerning the performance of their investments for the second quarter, but when they do receive them, probably starting this coming week, they're going to be horrified.
Right.
And this is an issue of special concern to the baby boomer population. These are the people like me who are either retired or about to retire and have stopped working, and so they're dependent on their investments and other sources to survive. And when you see things plummet in value, you can abruptly change your spending plans, your investing plans. You know, your remodeling of a house, or buying a new house, or moving, or
People speculate that Amy Schumer has money from tampon commercials.
Was she in tampon commercials?
I think that's a reference to her being a massive. See you next Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. No. We've overshot, I think.
I don't know. The thing.
Yeah. I mean, this is Chinatown.
Yeah. There's no way Bleecker is.
I think your Google thing is Biden stepped in today to sub for the real person on Google Maps. Yeah, this is down Broome Street.
It says 8 minutes, quarter of a mile.
But definitely not going
Scan
south.
buildings across the street. I don't want to scan buildings, damn it. How could it be this far? Look at this.
Where does it say we are?
That's what it must be confused about, because we're not over here. Houston is behind us. Kenmare? What the hell is it talking about?
This is Kenmare. We just passed Kenmare.
All right, so then it's right.
But isn't it that way, though?
Maybe it's taking us to some different one. But it is on Bleecker. I don't know how we got this
Yeah,
confused.
we're definitely, no, this is, we're definitely going, I think, the opposite direction of what we wanted to.
Well, then maybe I'm turned around and looking at the map.
See, that's Mulberry Street there. Mott Street here. We're heading south.
Yeah, we are walking the wrong way.
Watch.
Why doesn't it turn the map around? Wow, this is the stupidest walk ever. Sorry, everybody.
That's right.
Huge upgrade on the technology.
I mean, this is how, I mean, one of the few rejected shows that perhaps was fairly rejected in the infancy of our collaboration was this Columbus Day.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, the true story of Columbus apparently was that he was recruited and financed to find India. And he has this team, and he brings this large team of people from many different backgrounds. He had Jewish people who spoke Hebrew. He had people who spoke Arabic. He had all different other languages, people of different nationalities, and he arrives in the Caribbean and returns
See, that guy's
eventually.
looking at the light, not looking at us.
This is a moron. Another Subaru driver. And
All different languages and backgrounds.
You know, he's supposed to get to India. He arrives in the Caribbean, and he declares victory and goes home and demands all kinds of special compensation, which he gets. And we celebrate that to this day. A moron was supposed to go to India, and he comes back from the Caribbean. You know,
He's
no
a
gold,
descendant
no nothing.
of Joe Biden.
You know, and people are upset people today are upset for the wrong reasons that we celebrate Christopher Columbus. They're upset because they believe they accuse Christopher Columbus and those early settlers of destroying the, quote, original residents of this area. But every year that passes, we learn of new discoveries that suggest the original residents might have been,
killing each other.
Well, certainly we're killing each other, but who knows when do you define original? Is it 12,000 years ago? Is it 100,000 years ago?
Right.
Is it 250?
So someone's going to come along and tell the Native Americans, hey, you stole the land from us. Give it back to the amoebas.
I think that when global warming causes the Arctic ice caps to melt and these settlements that are buried under there are emerged, we're going to find out that actually it was Caucasians who were here 250,000 years ago, and the people we call, I'm making this stuff up, but the people we call the, quote, Indians, they should be called Caribbeans, whatever.
Carabiners?
Carabiners. They displaced our Caucasian ancestors.
Well, we need reparations.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when the Loyalists lost, many of them were kicked out of what became individual states. Do those people deserve reparations? Their lands were seized for unfairly low prices.
I think that's how they love to do it.
So are we going to go back and look at the various ancestors I have and others have who purchased land directly from the Indians? The Indians thinking the purchasers were morons because who could actually own land? You can't own it. So if somebody wants to pay me money for something that nobody can own, that's the fool.
Well, that's right. That's what they used to say about trading beads for land. So there's something going on where Russia is saying they've taken control. The Donbass is totally under their control.
Exactly. And this is going to continue.
But Uzbekistan is going crazy now.
Why are they? Well, they've always been crazy.
Some sort of unrest. I don't know. Big demonstration, and then cops came and started shooting at people.
Is it pro or anti-Russia?
I'm not even sure what the angle is. I just saw some guy dead in the street and another guy raising his arms, and they shot at him and he ran.
Yeah. I think, what Putin has been saying now is that countries that used to be part of the Soviet Union, if they want to maintain their sovereignty, had better behave. So he's now sending a message very clearly that it's not simply going to be portions of Ukraine.
Well, that's basically what everybody said in the beginning, that he wanted to reconstruct the Soviet Union. But that's not what he's saying, is it?
I don't think he wants to reconstruct the entire Soviet Union, but I think he wants to, he's probing and testing, and he wants to lessen his perceived vulnerability, his actual vulnerability. Is that your car over there?
C8, that looks good. In blue. So I saw something that said that GM, they can't sell these electric Humvees because of the semiconductor shortage. And then, of course, if China destroys Taiwan, that's going to only get worse.
I don't think they'll destroy Taiwan. Their goal is to take it
over.
Control, yeah.
They're not
what's
going to
that
give
license plate? 00 or OD?
This is the Yankees and 2 zeros, so maybe it's a baseball player who thinks he's important enough to park double parked in the street.
He's been getting some sneakers or something.
I don't know. You want to?
OD, I think it says.
It does say. Maybe it's Darryl Strawberry. Do you want to? Do you want a C8 Corvette, Charles? I bet you we could drive it out of here before the guy gets back.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm kidding.
Sushi and Thai
I don't
cuisine.
like it when they mix.
Oh, come on.
Who is doing that? Stop it.
Yeah, he's probably a mafioso.
Stop honking, dope.
Let's just keep going.
Guy's sitting here honking up the street. And what, that's good somehow?
It's not good, but
He thinks he's in the right?
tempers are high, and he could be carrying a gun, for all we know.
Yeah, he would miss.
Maybe hit me.
Nah.
That's interesting. See this, Jason?
What? I have seen that before, actually. That was from 1976, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember that vividly from my childhood. And I remember New Year's Eve on 1976 and the bicentennial.
Oh, right.
And now, if it happened today, it would be a centennial that identifies as bi.
Well, did you see that idiot senator in Arizona, Mark Kelly, is, I think is it straight or is it?
Straight.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, it's straight. Mark Kelly is going to a competitive celebration for the 4th of July tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck the 4th. A sitting U.S. senator running
ridiculous.
for office.
The other thing they're upset about is, so they're saying, oh, Ohio is denying this 10-year-old girl an abortion. And it's like, wait a minute. Who's impregnating the 10-year-old? That's the question.
Well, and where were the parents? in all
Maybe
this?
they're the ones impregnating her.
I know. I mean, that's just horrific.
But the point is, they're making the story about Ohio is banning abortions.
Well, again, when it's the they in this are people who are mathematically incompetent. They don't. I mean, the number of abortions per year in this country, as a percentage of the childbearing age women, is a very high number. It is not rare. It is an extremely high number, and it is not. There are horrible scenarios such as this 10-year-old girl's case and others, but those are probably, if there are 1,000 of those, I'd be amazed. But there are millions of abortions every year. And so shouldn't we really be saying, now, wait a minute, why is there a need for millions and millions of abortions every year? Why does that make any sense? And on the subject,
This is it right here. Oh my God, what is this huge armored car?
Well, let's stay away from it.
Doesn't it look ominous?
It does, so let's stay away from it.
There's probably people in there ready to attack.
Yeah, I think, there's Planned Parenthood right there. Yeah, I thought we were going the wrong direction.
It's a confusing spot. So, see, there was a ton of people here yesterday.
Yeah.
Nobody at all today.
It's Sunday. At least they didn't deface it.
Who cares?
Well, I just don't think you should be defacing property. I mean,
No, I agree. I mean, listen.
which way shall we go? Do you want to go east or west?
Sure.
East is this way.
Whatever, I don't mind.
Yeah, let's go over this way into like
The
Ukrainian stuff.
the thing that's happening from my perspective, Charles, just like with all of this extremism, is that whereas I might have started out somewhere in the middle on this debate, I think I've, like, if you're 10, I think they should have abortions available if you have the type of
Again,
situation.
the number of girls who get pregnant at age 10, I'd be amazed if that's 100 in the country.
I have never heard about that
Yeah,
before.
I mean, it seems shockingly young to me.
It's even strange that she would be biologically able to do that.
Yeah, I wonder about that. And it's a horrible,
30 minutes.
it's a horrible case, obviously. But before we start designing national policy to cope with the
Let's
epidemic,
first see this girl.
and see how many of them situations.
Because they could have made it up. Think about how many. Overthrow New York? What is
It's
that?
a boxing club.
But why do they want to overthrow?
Plant-based community fridge. New York, what are you fighting for?
My God. Is that Eric Adams' apartment? A plant-based centered life.
Yeah. We could
But,
nip into Vons for a nice whatever they serve.
Have you?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's not.
It's crazy life. Off
Well,
the
but I
Bowery.
mean, what I was going to say is, I feel like, you know, in the incidents of rape and within a, you know, there are circumstances under which I can agree that abortion should be available, but all of this activity has pushed me so far from that and made me so opposed to all these hateful people who just want to scream at people going to the church and
Right.
and tell them about how they want to get pregnant just so they can kill the baby. I don't think these people are thinking about the emotional experience that you go through with all of that. They're just ignorant people who are yelling about stuff that they want to yell about.
Well, I think they also just demonstrate many of these people are spoiled people
Right.
who do not understand that being a parent necessarily involves sacrifice. You know, if you're not prepared to give up your best, you know, long-standing plans to deal with an emergency created by one child or maybe more than one child who comes up with some sickness out of the blue, you know, and is screaming his or her head off all night, and you've got to go to work the next morning and do some important presentation or whatever. If you don't understand that your child comes first in that scenario, you shouldn't be thinking about having a child. And it's, you know, it's like, it's a very sloppy, in quotes, thinking. This is the woke mind virus at work,
Yes.
right? I mean, it used to be in the olden days when people were getting ready to think about starting families, and back then you did have people get pregnant at 13, 12, I don't know about 10, but you know, people understood that the young family needed to be supported, that they needed to make sure that the young family had some sort of resources, whether it's land if they're farmers, or a trade or a craft if they were working as merchants or whatever, that they had to have the basic ability to fend for themselves before they started thinking about bringing another child into this world. You know, now it's like mothers don't need fathers.
Well, it's selfishness, right? It's the same thing that causes these people to ride their bicycles on the sidewalk and an idiot to sit honking the horn. He doesn't care what people on the street hurt somebody's ears, you know, whatever. He's just an asshole sitting in his car blaring the horn. So, you know, all these people want to run around and scream about how they don't even realize what is happening, and they're protesting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And right. And to distinguish the need for an abortion when you're raped with the need for an abortion because at 16 weeks in or 22 weeks in or 24 weeks in, you have a change of heart about whether you want to bring this baby, the product of, let's say, somebody you broke up with, into this world. Those are very different issues.
What about this guy who aborted the mother of his child?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Well, at least they didn't give him bail. They stuck him in jail, and he's staying there.
See how long.
Well, they said no bail. But how do they arrive at that if everybody... I mean, I don't understand how this whole bail thing works.
It doesn't. It's just arbitrary and capricious, like the criminal justice system writ large is in the United States. So speaking of Grace Church School, here's the high school on the left. Coming up on that.
Literally on the left.
Yeah, very much on the left.
This is a pretty nice white apartment building. If you had that huge balcony, you'd probably like it.
No, it's noisy as hell. You know, sound carries, so you get
double glazing.
Oh, you said on the terrace. If you're on the terrace.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So yeah, the blue flag there, that's the high school.
You could also go to Gyakumaki or whatever that place where you cook your own beef.
In the famous Village Voice, which I think didn't do very well.
But it's not around anymore, is it?
I think it went the way of all things.
Well, you know, they did a lot of writing about the CIA. They actually did do some pretty good journalism at the Village Voice.
Oh, I know. They interviewed me in 2016.
Oh, really?
Sure.
When did it go away?
Right after that interview. No.
They're like, oh, that's it. Hang it up.
That's it.
Yeah, now it's Japanese barbecue.
And you see this, the Grace Church School building, I believe they may have refurbished the front of it. But, I mean, the architecture firm that designed that and the Board of Trustees should be shot.
Rectangle.
I mean, how could you approve this look? It looks like, you know, they didn't finish the building. Yeah, could you give us like chunky barf yellow?
It's designed by Lego. Well, and then to counteract it, this side of the street went the whole other way.
Yeah, this is, what is it, Cooper Union?
Yeah.
Epstein's brother destroyed that place.
It smells like somebody's barbecuing. I think there's a Hell's Angels office down there.
Yeah, well, why don't we go past McSorley's, which I think is in there.
Okay.
I mean, this could be pretty nice, and honestly, this is an unusually pleasant July 3rd, weather-wise.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you don't really need air conditioning today.
I'm not even using the active cooler on the phone. It's a super lightweight day for me.
Whereas, focus, Jason, focus.
Yeah. Peter Cooper right there, Charles.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like Planet of the Apes.
I wonder how he'd feel. You know,
about this?
He'd given enough money away so that
you never have to pay
for
college.
And now he discovers you got to pay for college, and that Epstein again.
Yeah, he would hate it. All these guys are crazy.
Well, I suppose we should be happy he's not robbing, you know, shooting up taxi cabs.
Well,
This is
still early.
McSorley's open on a Sunday. We'll see in a second.
I'm sure it is.
Taras Shevchenko Place. I wonder how you get a place named after you. What?
Singing.
44 South Village, Taipei beef noodles. And this is
This is pretty
McSorley's.
full.
Yeah.
Oh, this is McSorley's,
Girl
right? There you go.
holding up beer. There we go.
Wow. Bit young for beer.
Yeah. The beer, in my opinion, it sucks here. Yeah,
McSorley's is just terrible.
yeah. I remember the first time I went was probably in high school, and people said, "Oh, you got to go to McSorley's."
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah.
Got to go to
so
McSorley's.
full
It's really cool. It's great. It's like, this is bilge water.
there. It's terrible.
Not that I'd had that much experience drinking beer then, but
And they're rude.
food I wouldn't.
No, rude.
Oh yeah,
So what's this?
probably assisted living.
But it's got the Ukrainian.
Well, this is there's a Ukrainian church, I think, right there.
Yeah.
See it? Right here?
Yeah, we've seen it many times
And-
before.
And then this is that Burp Castle.
Yeah. So people are upset about this liberal world order, Charles. They've basically admitted it. It's funny, I mean, between Alex Jones and Donald Trump, they basically had most of.
Well, it's Brian Dees. I mean, I looked him up. I forget what his title is, but he went to Yale Law School, of course. He was a finalist to be a Rhodes Scholar, of course. He worked in the Obama administration multiple different ways, of course. He worked in the Hillary Clinton campaign, of course. And he never had a serious job until they made him head of sustainable investing. Is this it?
No, that's it right there. This guy's like going. Do you own the Burp Castle?
But it says here they're open at 4, Saturday and Sunday, and they're not.
Don't know.
Write him a ticket.
Burp Castle not open.
Not burping.
Who would have thought that place would be unreliable, Charles? What's the world coming to?
That's right. When you can't rely on Burp Castle.
What do you think about these rumors that Donald Trump will announce his presidential run early to short circuit the January 6th commission illegal show trial nonsense?
I don't think that's true. Let's see. Let's go up Second Avenue. We haven't done that in a while. I think most of these candidates try to wait as long as possible. It was unusual for Hillary the first time around to announce January 20th, 2007. But the reason she did that was to try to clear the field and let the rest of the Democrats know that she had the money, it was her turn. And of course, Obama said, "Oh, no, you didn't." And but so she, I think, would be among, that example is among the earliest to do it 6 months ahead of that. You know, if you were to do it, for example, this weekend, I think it is not wise. It distracts from the 2022 midterms, and financially it would hurt him actually, because I think it's tougher to raise money once you've announced than if you're just thinking about it. And he is. I mean, judging by, he's not very successful with me, but judging by the number of emails that I get from on a daily basis from Don Jr., from this committee and that committee, whatever. I mean, they're just.
What's her name? Kim Guilfoyle?
Kimberly Guilfoyle. It's the Nigerian prince ruse is dead, so let's do the Trump's running for president ruse. It's an interesting building. What's this? Oh, library.
That's what I was just looking at. Whose face is that? Library is fully accessible to people with disabilities.
Huh.
Ottendorfer.
Famous. Oh, it's
Who is he?
The first person to do a building specifically as a library. I actually do think libraries are fantastic. I wish that they were maintained better. Unfortunately, in this city, what has happened is that pre-pandemic, these libraries, particularly in cold and hot weather,
it's just a homeless hangout.
Yeah, and there's some libraries, like the one in the village near me, doesn't have a bathroom. So, you know, these people who have trouble managing their lives to begin with.
Using the periodical section as a toilet.
Well, I mean, they get to a point where they really need to use the bathroom and there's nothing for them to do. So what do? They go out on the street.
I figured they would just go to the reading room.
Yeah, no.
Not funny, really. I mean, you know, these are problems that aren't being addressed. Eric Adams is just showing up giving press conferences after people get shot. Cops are retiring. I think I told you last week, 75 detectives resigned.
Right.
Or retired early or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I read a story, I don't know if it's true, that what's this?
Well, I guess it's if you have a 12-step program, this is the 13th step. That looks new.
It smells clean.
Smells like a fresh keg.
What's
Hey, they have one of these over on 7th Avenue. I didn't realize there was more than one.
The long pour.
Just a ton of bars, huh? Bars, weed.
It's your future, Jason. It's like, you know, making America alcoholic again.
Temakase. That looks new.
It's closed.
I saw a place had a big sign that said "Make America Gay Again," and I was like, "Wait a minute, again?"
Well, that's, you know, this reinterpretation of history. I've seen books where they argue that Abraham Lincoln was gay because there's a moment. It was not I don't know, custom, but it was not unusual for men to sleep in the same bed when they're, you know, away from home. Let's say they're politicians or they're campaigning or whatever, and they were not gay, I don't think, but they would sleep in the same bed. And so people have tried to.
This is before the invention of heaters?
Well, of indoor heat. You know, so it's. I've seen arguments that he was gay, that he was depressed because he was gay or whatever, and couldn't fit in properly, and his marriage was a sham, and his having children were.
The wife was crazy or something, right?
Very much crazy. I mean, in the medical sense.
Yeah, mental illness of some kind.
Oh, very severely.
And then they had a lot of kids that died, right? Like,
well, that's not unusual in that time frame. It was
It's upsetting.
yeah, but it was sadly quite customary. You see that if you can do genealogy on a family that's been here for a while, you'll see that
A lot of children dying.
we're not photographing you.
This dude's drinking a beer, driving down the street all over the place.
Right.
Like, oh, call my agent. It's like, dude, get lost.
Exactly.
So this place,
Enter
well,
the
Charles, they
Dragon.
still have 35 millimeter.
But Enter the Dragon, isn't that very
that's
old?
Bruce Lee. So you could come here and see it projected on 35. It's probably a crap print and a terrible projector, but there's not going to be a lot of movie theaters left with 35 millimeter.
Well, you can go to the 12th Street Ale House first.
Right. I think that used to be Rodeo. Maybe I'm wrong though.
We don't have the light. What's Rodeo?
It's just whatever previous crappy bar was there. So Joe Biden is busily telling everybody, no, we're going to keep blowing up Ukraine until Putin is dead.
Oh, we were talking about that Brian Dees guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a disaster he is. I mean, they put him in charge of sustainable investing at BlackRock, and I'm going to bet that his return, maybe he had all kinds of fancy annual reports and presentations, but investors didn't make much money legitimately make much money off of any project he was involved in. On the strength of that, he's now going to go give these idiotic speeches saying that, we must preserve the liberal world order. We've got to tolerate gas prices that are destroying the economy. And we have it, Biden, pains me to say this, is actually correct that gas prices are high in America, but they're even higher in Europe and places in Asia because foreign governments take an even bigger slice out of the
right.
tax. Yeah. So, but still, you're sitting there in Akron, let's say Ohio, recovering from the tragedy of these policemen killing a black person.
Food delivery guy.
And you open up your mail or look on your computer and you see, oh my God, my credit card bill is $1,500. I was expecting it to be
gas, yeah.
Well, not gas, from everything. I was expecting
That's
it to
true.
be $600, but they've jacked my interest rate and they've done this and this fee and that fee and something I didn't realize I owed, and my insurance bills are going
Well,
up.
and then if you don't pay it all, then it starts getting to be a real big problem.
Well, and on top of which we have Obamacare. Premiums are going to explode in October. So you're sitting there and
Obamacare premiums are going to explode?
Yeah,
I think they sent me a letter saying it's going up.
a lot.
Why so much?
Because in 2020 they were set to go up, and Congress passed as one of the fixes to ameliorate the negative impacts of the
American Recovery Act.
right.
Or whatever.
They had the government in effect pay the increased cost of Obamacare, so you wouldn't see it. And now, to get that deal going again, Congress is going to have to act, and Congress is not going to act prior to, I don't think, the election. So
how are we not a planned economy? Serious question.
I know.
Aren't we?
Here's $1.50 a slice now.
Oh, yeah, they changed it.
Well, the one near me, they've changed it so many times that they now have handwritten stickers. Oh, this is the plain cheese slice, but I don't know. We'll see here. They have
Not a lot of.
well, no, they
business.
have meat lover and this and that, but on the ones where they show you the per slice price, they've changed it so many times. It used to be a pepperoni, you'd make it $1.50. Now pepperoni for one of those crappy slices, which are smaller than the average slice, $2.50. Your car.
Why would you park the Lamborghini right here?
Is that a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Somehow
Somehow
I suspect the rightful owner of that car did not park that car there, but I could be wrong. This is actually kind of shady over here.
You mean in a protection
Yeah,
from the sun?
not unpleasant sense. But anyway, back on Brian Dees. This guy is spectacularly unqualified and his ideas are arrogantly stupid, and it's just a miracle to me that people will let the guy even interact with the press.
I know, that's what I mean. What he said is so stupid. Here's Bong World again.
Yeah, but put that guy in charge of the economy. He's probably.
But it's not even like Bong Country. Bong World should be a giant warehouse.
Maybe that's what Brian Dees means by liberal, the liberal world order. Bong World.
Bong Oblast. They could call that.
And then did you see that? I think it's 70 members of the White House press corps said, "Listen, we're not going to put up with this mysterious way in which you decide to call on people anymore. We insist that you have open press conferences, as happened under Trump, where everybody gets a chance to speak and nobody's."
How do you like it when people with zero agency insist on things?
Well, but the thing that's interesting about all this is that the Biden administration response was to
cancel it.
Well, to make sure that Biden took no questions. They had, the Easter Bunny person shoved everybody out of the room and got him out of there. And the idiot St. Pierre, or whatever her name is, took a personal day on Friday because she had something to do and didn't take any questions. That's her response. It's like, fuck you.
Exactly. The disdain that they show we the people is just
That's crazy.
very telling. Should we make this, you think?
No.
Okay, so then let's hang back in the shade here for a moment.
Yeah, that's the Con Edison building, another place where bureaucracy runs riot.
It's Con Everyone building.
Yeah, that's the White House.
That's true.
And meanwhile, what is Joe Biden doing? Do you think he's at his mansion or his beach house this weekend?
Don't they tell us?
Probably not.
Let's just see Joe Biden, see what comes up in the news.
Sock puppet.
Ricky Martin is hit with a domestic abuse restraining order. Now what will we do? Joe Biden. News for Joe Biden. So Marco Rubio campaign grills Joe Biden and Val Demings over July 4th prices. From one July 4th to the next, Joe Biden is like America's founding fathers, and no, I'm not kidding, from Salon.com. How is that? Because he's 200 years old?
Well, I don't know, but seriously, the prices are, not only are prices out of control, but uncertainty is so high.
Right.
That if you're in the energy industry, for example, and you're trying now to decide what should my capital budget be for the next 5 years, because
You
if
have
you're
no
Exxon,
way of knowing.
well, if you're Exxon, that's the way you think, because a lot of
Right.
these projects can take 5 or more years to actually complete. So
If Joe's talking about dismantling your whole deal, you're not really going to be interested in
right.
making investments in the next 5 years.
Right. This is really appetizing.
That's just
in front of a food store. Have all this garbage. This is the famous store where some kid walked in and stuffed 10 or 12 steaks down his pants. Maybe that's
the
this
guy.
yeah.
That's why he's got to wear the short pants. Shove the steaks in from the bottom. Easy insert. Cargo shorts.
Yeah.
Fit as many steaks.
And this is a wine store that used to be famous for, was it $2 Chuck or something, $1.99? Then it went to then $3.99. It's probably like $5.99 now. Who knows?
But just think about this. It's NYU, and they have a wine store right in there.
Where's the weed store? It's got to be
It's
even
coming
closer.
soon, I'm sure. Yeah, we were also talking yesterday on High Dive with Lee Stranahan and our special guest, John Mark Dugan, about this WNBA basketball player who is looking at probably many years in jail for having weed in Russia.
Well, what a moron.
I agree.
No, seriously, I mean, what kind of a moron gets on an international flight with dope?
A dope.
Right? And I have no sympathy.
You really are begging for extreme trouble.
Well, it's where you learn. I mean, it's this American idea that we're somehow outside America
the law follows you.
You're covered by America. No, you're not. If you leave this country,
Yeah.
you damn well better respect the laws of the country you're visiting, or you're going to learn the hard way.
And that's why I'm so reluctant to travel internationally now. Not because I want to bring weed, but because I just feel like all these other countries, including our own, have demonstrated that they'll just change the law and do whatever they want to you based on somebody deciding somebody is sick.
Well, and it is, I think, quite possible that you could be traveling in a foreign country and somebody could plant contraband on you.
That's true too.
And
But I don't think that's what's happened here. She had it like in her suitcase. Actually, I saw a video of her at the airport getting scanned and making faces like, oh.
And she did not getting scanned in America, or
no, in Russia they have a surveillance video of her at the airport putting her suitcase into some sort of X-ray machine or whatever, and then Dugan said they had dogs that smelled it, and she had it all wrapped up and everything, because she was playing for this. That's a Bong colony.
Not part of Bong World.
Colony of Bong World, yeah. But she was wrapping it in tinfoil or something to prevent it from, being smelled.
I mean, not the brightest bulb in the
Joe
garden.
Biden's driving that bus.
Why is that?
This is electric. Oh yeah, and somebody yesterday on Twitter posted a video of the line at the Tesla car charging thing. Wow, I didn't realize that Ewing was number 33.
And that wasn't Ewing.
But that is another major consideration. If you have to wait an hour to charge your car for an hour, that problem's only going to get worse.
Well, how do you value your time?
That's what I'm saying. To me, for a long, long time, until you have a car with a battery that lasts so much longer than you could possibly drive it, that you're charging it like once a week, which is possible, that could happen.
Sure.
But until you have that, the hybrid car is the only sensible thing to me. Make a super efficient, 50, 100 mile per hour car, battery and gasoline. You've got the generator with you in the vehicle, most efficient way to generate electricity.
Yep.
Because they're also saying that production of Teslas was down because of supply chain stuff.
I'm sure. Production of everything is going to be down. Except propaganda from the government. That's going to be exploding.
Production of nonsense from Joe Biden's mouth. What's happening with the Pillow Man? I think Trump had some kind of event, didn't he?
I don't know.
That guy was carrying a pillow. It made me think about
My pillow?
Yeah.
You've been here quite recently, Jason.
Yes.
Poor guy.
Just trying to make
$40.
very specific sign. He wants $40 to rent a hotel room in Staten Island.
And then you help that guy out humbly.
Jimmy says that this girl had a vape and it doesn't smell. I don't know. That's what Dugan told me, that dogs could smell it. I bet you a dog could smell a vape. It's not airtight.
Well, is a vape illegal? I think it was marijuana she had.
No, it's marijuana oil in the vape that she's burning.
Well, what's the legal standard in Russia? What is marijuana oil something you can have in Russia?
Yeah, it's THC in there. No, you're not allowed to have it. They had some whole readout of what percent THC and how many grams and this and that.
Pants. Check out his pants. Turn around and check out his pants.
Got a whole lot.
Literally below his knees.
Yeah, he had a lot of stuff in the pants.
Ridiculous.
There's 2 COVID testing tents right there. So it seems like the news is telling us that COVID is back, that there's some new
Big gulp.
version of COVID now. Another strain.
Trying to make $40. It's the same argument. Same hotel in Staten
Oh my
Island.
God. That's.
What?
You're right. It says Staten Island on
Yeah,
there.
it's
So why
same
do they
hotel.
have the same pitch?
In the same hotel? Probably has to pay So, the person who's protecting that person.
They're working for the hotel.
Yeah.
Really?
We were just trying to get $80 to this hotel.
Can work at GameStop.
Well, the other thing they asked Elon Musk in this Babylon Bee interview is, would he rather be Batman or Iron Man? And he said he would be Irony Man because the irony of... That's not weed and hats.
It's like,
and music.
Please just turn that shit off.
Beatboxing.
It's not horrible.
But he said the irony was that, Elizabeth Warren called him a freeloader and a grifter. I mean, that's bad. That's accusing him of being a con man. And Musk pointed out that he literally paid more tax than anybody in the history of the United States, and that Elizabeth Warren paid no tax, and that her salary is paid by taxpayers, including him.
Well, you can't really give her a hard time because isn't her first language Seminole or something? It's like,
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. That woman is pathetic.
She really is.
And the fact when I believe the story is that when Anne Hutchinson was kicked out of Massachusetts, and she placed a curse on the politics of Massachusetts, and I think that explains the Kennedys. That explains.
Wow.
That explains certainly Elizabeth Squall Warren.
Sounds like we got a lot of fire trucks coming.
I mean, the truth. My understanding. My recollection of what happened was that Harvard had a real problem in that most of the professors were white males, and the radicals decided that they had to change that. And so they made an effort to hire a more diverse group of professors. And that's how Elizabeth Warren went from being, a fake Indian. I want to go at 7. I'll leave you at 7 to 14.
Well, because that falls into the whole category of doing whatever you want in the name of equity is okay.
Well, it's cultural appropriation. I mean, pictures that you've put up in the past of her dressing like an Indian.
That Maserati was
pretty loud.
Still trying to have an accident here on Fifth Avenue. I'm waiting to hear the boom.
Right.
Charles, these people are endangering our safety.
Right. I do have some sympathy, actually. I've noticed that cabs often will not stop for black people.
Oh, that's
not good.
No. I'm talking about the Maserati.
Well, that poor woman, she had a cane, overweight, and the cabs wouldn't stop for her. I think in part because they couldn't see her. She was, There's Elizabeth Warren.
That's JB Smoove.
No, the person on the right.
Yeah.
Is JB Smooth or?
Isn't it on the left, JB Smoove?
I'm saying Elizabeth Warren on the right.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristically on the right. Now look, this is a totally coherent argument for giving New York City as much money as possible. This is the Human Resources Administration.
That's the resources.
I mean, look at this filth, this building. You can't even keep a building facade clean. They say they work from 9 till 5, Monday through Friday. The whatever IDNYC office is 9 to 5. The Waverly Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program is 8:30 to 5. What is the Waverly Job Center?
Nutrition Assistance Program.
I mean, just
Medicaid Application Assistance.
You look at this; it's filthy. It's been filthy. You got pigeons on the facade here, crapping all over the place. This team deserves as much money as we can give them.
Pretty bad.
And don't tell me that the city can't do anything. It's probably a city-owned building.
Well, it got to be. It has that NYC logo.
Right.
Yeah, there's just so many weed stores opening.
And then here's this Link NYC program. We have homeless people hanging around, charging phones. Where I live, near me, they come at night and sleep. watching. They put their laptops charged in there, and they tell stories and shoot up and drink and who knows what, because I'm not out that late. This portion of 14th Street has been run down for my entire life here.
But it normally had stores, though. I mean, this was like Party City. Oh, no, there's Party City.
This is protecting the liberal world order.
But this was like a carpet store or something in there. I can't believe this Party City stays open. It's gigantic.
Well, and who goes shopping at Party City on 14th Street?
I've been in there when I've had parties and stuff.
What would you get?
I like balloons and I don't know. I do remember being in there, though.
I mean, how does a place like this actually make money?
That's what I'm saying. It's so big, the rent has got to be outrageous. I mean, I get it, selling sneakers or clothing or... What is this? Spa?
Just like
Rehoboth.
Rehoboth, that's Joe Biden's town, Delaware.
Oh, this just looks like a nail salon.
You get a Biden massage, go in there, get a free car, have your son hooked up with hookers.
Didn't they reveal that Joe was paying for the hookers?
I don't know if Joe doesn't pay for anything.
Yeah, that's right. It's from his 10%.
So yeah, this is going to be, tomorrow we'll have a celebration, bittersweet. We'll see what moves Putin may make. You're right, Russia's declaring sovereignty over Luhansk, I think, or at least control over that area. And more and more people are to the place you and I were many weeks ago when we said Russia's going to take what it wants here. And we've sent, who knows how much money we've actually sent towards Ukraine and how much in the way of weapons and where those weapons are going to end up.
Well, I mean, RT did that investigation.
I'm just saying that's one investigation, but who knows in the end what we're going to discover. I mean,
there's that Ferrari.
Let's hope that we don't have any really disastrous development.
How you get in? So
I mean, tomorrow's a day, parades everywhere, mass gatherings everywhere, fireworks.
What's all that smoke?
That looks like a fire to me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Now, do you see the fire entrance down there? We could
Should we go over there?
Yeah, we may as well.
Sorry. Here's some sort of Star Wars exhibit.
That's, are those fire engines or are those streamers?
Hey, did I leave the oven on? Here's another weed store. Yeah, that looks like a big
streamers,
fire.
But the fire's that way. Thankfully, not near my house.
Wow.
Definitely not good.
Did somebody do something, you think? I don't...
Or as you say, is that good? Is that bad?
Is that bad? No, I mean, that's like billowing black smoke. That you don't really see that too often.
Yeah. Well, it's bad to see that, but even worse to hear the fire engines. And there's Ewings following you.
Oh yeah, wow. It's probably a dumpster on fire, Charles.
The White House? A dumpster?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think tomorrow everybody will be just kind of relaxing, maybe watching some stuff blow up.
Well, the fireworks, when you have all that sound at night, it's perfect cover for...
That's true.
Boom.
Remember last year they were just like launching fireworks at any time and then that kind of stopped.
Huh.
The good news is, Charles, we're at 2 hours on the show and the battery still has...
kicking along?
Yeah, plenty to go. So the new super lightweight sound recorder, which, by the way, I've really got to thank the viewer sponsors of the show because no equipment would be purchased without your sponsorship. If you enjoy the show and you aren't a sponsor, you're running the risk of the show going away, because maybe that's the Ferrari.
It's everywhere.
But become a sponsor. Go to subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. And there's lots of great sponsor exclusive shows. We had David Hawkins and John Cullen on Friday, and then a special episode of High Dive with Lee Stranahan yesterday with John Mark Dugan.
Get in the shade over there.
Yeah, here's a place selling protein shakes and acai bowls.
And
Your
I don't
favorite
think
kind of bowl, Charles?
I don't think I'm giving anything away, but this is the Chinese.
It looks like they put the fire out.
Yeah, well, certainly we'll just go that way, but this is the place where I get my Chinese food. It's quite good.
This used to be Ray's Pizza.
I know. Net in the
I was quite sad when that left.
If we go to this next block,
Yeah.
it's a diagonal, and we can see. I'll go as far as 7th, and then leave you there.
Sure.
This
Let's-
is PS41, or
Well, this was a toy store
right?
forever.
And how could you lose money having a toy store next to? And this is Sammy's Noodle.
I know, that was there
Fantastic.
forever also. Whoops.
The pandemic just put the kibosh on all this stuff.
So many things.
Sammy's Noodle was, I think, in a lot of guidebooks, so that you'd see all these, tables of groups of 12 people or 8 people coming in from Paris or somewhere, and all go there. And
Let's see if we have any questions from people in the comments here.
let's go this way. Let's see, there's a fire station right here.
That was not Patrick Ewing. That guy looked a lot younger.
Yeah, I think that well, and also he was very thin. A guy like that would be snapped in two by the professional basketball players.
Just the Facts, ma'am, says the sound quality is great. That's
Oh, good.
excellent. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean, this thing, Charles, so I've had this has happened a few times in my life where I'll, sort of say like, boy, it would be great to invent a 32-bit sound mixer the size of a pack of cards, but I don't really know how to do that, and it would cost millions to develop. But then somebody else made it.
It's good, and you bought it.
Right. And it's doing exactly. We get to see something that I've wanted to point out that I usually only see after the show ends.
What's that?
This image of Will Smith slapping over there. Now, did you notice that they're already...
That used to be a very nice Italian restaurant.
Well, now it's just a tribute to the slap, but they are already trying to reconstitute Will Smith's, Well, what did that guy say?
I don't know. But that family that owned the building, my friends from my parents, it's right here.
Good thing it's not on fire.
That's what I was worried about a little bit, actually. It's this building here.
I think that's it.
So we could just, from here, we can see more clearly Yeah, that's, I think the stone wall is there.
In the
then-
ground floor, right?
Yeah.
That's just probably an apartment building.
And there are apartments up there, and there are bars in the basement. Well, fitting into the wall.
Yeah, wow, a lot of excitement here in the Big Apple.
Last week it was NYC Pride. This week it's NYC Fire.
if they don't get it, burn it down.
Well, that's the whole summer.
Yeah. Well, it's...
So I'll leave you here, I think that's okay.
Yeah, all right, there you go, Charles.
We'll go, I'll leave you in the corner.
In the shade, yeah. But that's...
This morning there was a guy sleeping right there at 9:30.
I don't doubt it. What kind of police car is that?
That's State Park Police. See, this is a Department of the Interior park now. But look at the number of fire trucks here. Do we really need all of this? From all of them down there?
Wow.
It's a little bit of overkill, I think.
I'm not mad at you. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Look, the police, when they're not texting, they got plenty of time to talk to hot chicks. Oh yeah, U.S. Park Police. Ask that guy where Vince Foster is. All right, Charles.
All right, Jason. Thanks again. I need to give that to you if we're
Grab
done.
the microphone. Well, all right.
You're gonna keep
Thanks
going?
for watching, everybody. Signing off here from the flaming Stonewall Inn. And don't forget to become a sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Got to pay for this new sound recorder. Thanks for watching, everybody.